All right, guys, welcome back. We are diving into the next lesson in the Shay How series, Learning How to Code. So if we come over here to our homework section and come down to the Shay How series, and we're diving into lesson number 9, Adding Media. So media really is a cornerstone of good web pages. Web developers take advantage of utilizing media and inputting it into their style, layout, context. Basically, they're really good at enhancing the content, the written content, by subsidizing the message with other forms of media. So in this page, they're going to be looking at adding images, adding audio, adding video, adding inline frames, and figures and captions. So images and videos are really the ones that stand out. Audio has mixed reactions and hasn't really been utilized very much in terms of web pages, but I think it is a good tool to have in the back pocket as you go forward developing web pages or apps or whatever it is you want to develop. But I think images and videos really are the cornerstone of the media that when it comes to web pages anyway. So, like always, I'm going to dive in here, take a look around, see what I can find out, and I'll report back with my findings. All right, guys, I'm back and just went through lesson number 9, adding media on the Shay How series, learning how to code, and some really useful information. So we go through how to add images, which is a self-closing tag, which means there's only the first part of the tag, there's no closing tag. And then you use a source, src, equals, and then you put in the URL. So this is pretty common. You see it used very frequently. It also has alt text as an attribute. So you can put in the alt text describing the image, but then they go into audio files. Audio files have a closing tag, so it's a little bit different. So it's an opening tag and a closing tag. And they also have a lot of controls that can be included. So they have audio attributes that can add features as well, like controls, playback, attributes that can kind of give you different control over the audio file. They also mention that it's a good idea to add a fallback file in case the audio file being played isn't collaborative with the browser that's being used. I think that's a little bit outdated information, but probably good advice overall. Having a fallback to different types of media which may not be supported is good practice. Then they jump into the video. So the video is similar to the audio, except it uses a different tag, and it is also a closing tag, has an opening tag and a closing tag, and it also has the different attributes to it. So you can show it and give it a thumbnail, you can give it controls, you can make it have autoplay, a lot of different attributes that you can include. It's also recommended with the images and the videos to give the size dimensions because this allows the browser to allot that amount of space even before the page is loaded. So it just makes it a bit of a smoother process for the loading if you give the browser those details, and so it knows how much space to allot for the images and the videos. Audio obviously doesn't take up any space on the page, so that's not really a key factor, but with video it is. Then they move on to inline frames. Inline frames are portions of other websites that are embedded into your web page. Inline frames can take a lot of features like weather or maps or horoscopes, today's horoscopes, stock market tickers. Anything that has a lot of depth to it or a back end can be embedded into your web page using inline frames. And finally, they go over figures and captions. So figures are basically self-contained pieces of content or media that you want on its own within the web page. So it might be a picture. So these figures also can have captions. So there's the figure, and you can also have a figure caption. So in the news article, you'll see an image, and then below the image, typically there'll be a caption describing what's happening. So that is the lesson number 9, adding media. I think this was a solid lesson, definitely one of the more important lessons, and one that I'll probably refer back to on a regular basis. It brings up the notion of adding audio, which is intriguing because it's not a widely used facet of web development, but certainly knowing how to embed other aspects of websites into your own using frames, and knowing how to utilize images, control images by their size, their position, and using videos as well. These are really powerful tools and really rich media that can not only accent your text content, but really take it to the next level. It is a long one, just like the others, so make sure you do a good review prior to diving in so you have an idea of what you're getting into in terms of the content scope, and then that'll help you get through the material as well. But that is lesson number 9, and we are moving on to the next lesson.